So guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the Rogue Invitational 2025. So we're going to be running through my predictions for today, and yeah, I'll be honest, I spent some time looking through this stuff, and the people making the podium might not be the ones you would have originally thought of. So let's just have a quick look through it. So first of all, we have the wagon wheel axle deadlift. So from my understanding, it's an 18-inch deadlift. It's at least a raised deadlift, so it's around the 18-inch mark. What's basically happening as of right now is, some of you may or may not have heard, there were two people who were meant to be going that are no longer going. Evan Singleton got a pec injury out at Battle of the Beasts in Malta. He unfortunately injured his pec doing some sumo wrestling, I believe. So he's going to be out for a good while. As a matter of fact, I think he may have announced that he won't be doing Worlds next year as well, because this is going to take a long time to recover from. So really sad to see. He was definitely a huge contender for the overall title. But I think he'll be coming back in good shape next year. I think himself and Nico are doing some pretty good work together. So best of luck to Evan with that. So next we have Hafthor Julius Bjornson is just after pulling out as well. Only a couple of days ago. Basically what happened with him was he... what exactly happened with him again? Oh yeah, shoulder injury. He has some nerve damage in his shoulder, and like he can still press away the dumbbell and kettlebell stuff on his right arm as far as I know. But he can't do like the axle for the circus press medley, and the Viking press would obviously be inhibited then as a result. So he does want to come still and do the deadlift, but what he's going to be doing shouldn't be counting to the overall show. He's just going to be there to show a face, but not actually compete, which is really unfortunate, because he would have been as big, if not bigger, of a contender for the whole title than Evan for this. So yeah, some really big names were missing there, but we do have one of them replaced, and that is with Bryce Johnson, who seems to be on just an uphill fucking trek right now. What I mean by that is he's actually doing really well. Yeah, he came second at the the deadlift champs. Don't ask me the name of the competition. I don't know, is it Open or Classic? I think it's the Open, Giant Slave Open, pretty sure. But the deadlift champs, he came second at that, in a pretty stacked lineup as well. So fair play to him for that. So yeah, we have one replacement, and nobody has announced who's going to be the 10th person in the Rogue Invitational yet. And to be honest, I think the reason being is because they're probably not going to have a 10th person. I had a quick scroll through the ranking system, and I was looking at some of the names who were close to the top 10, and Matej was one of them. He was actually 10th. The issue is Matej is just after tweaking his Achilles, and his main focus is the comps next year. So I highly doubt he'll be going. Someone else who was pretty close there was Derwinski. He's in decent shape, but it's just a lot to ask of someone living out in Canada to book these flights to come through into Scotland with like a week's notice. So like the unfortunate thing is the people who are actually near the top of the list are just too far away or injured. Like the only other person I could think of right now was probably Luke Richardson, who's actually living in the area. Travel wouldn't be an issue for him. Very late notice, but I'm sure he'd be more than happy to do it. I don't know, will he be getting an invite? We should be finding out within the next couple of days. But the problem is, on the ranking system, he's ranked 37th, which I believe it's the last position on the Rogue ranking system. Now, they do say it's an invitational, so they could technically invite him. I just see it as very unlikely, as he places so low on that list. And there's so many other guys that they could give the invite to that it would seem controversial if they didn't. So I think personally they're probably going to do a 9-man lineup, which kind of sucks for Luke Richardson, but is what it is, and I'm sure he will be a huge threat at Worlds and Britons and all those other comps for next year. So into the full competition with the remaining guys, who I think is going to place where for the Rogue Invitational. So event number 1, we had the wagon wheel deadlift. I think Trey Mitchell takes the win here. I think Lucas Hatton comes second. I think Mitchell Hooper is third. Thomas Evans in fourth. Austin Andrade in fifth. Rayno Nel in sixth. Paddy Haynes in seventh. Bryce Johnson in eighth. And I think Tom Stoltman is in ninth, taking last place on the first event. Which, in fairness, this isn't even a bad event for Tom. Like deadlift for height, he's usually better at. Like Hummer tire deadlift there, he pulled like 499, I think, at a 2023 Strongman Earth. And like I think he did pretty good at Worlds as well. He was around the 480, 490-ish mark, I think. He was definitely over 1,000 pounds anyway. So yeah, I'll be honest, I think it's more than likely Tom's going to come last in that event, and that's not even like assuming that he's going to make a mistake. I just think this is such a stacked lineup of deadlifters. I find it very hard to see him beating anyone there. Yeah, so on to event number 2, we have the Viking press. So it is 60 seconds for max reps. Now, unfortunately, I do not know the weight. I could estimate it. Look, in Giants Live, they normally do 150 to 160 kilos for reps. I would imagine this is going to be a little bit heavier. I could see it being around the 170 mark. I'm going to say 170 is probably the most likely. I cannot see it going over 180 kilos. And they are doing that max reps in 60 seconds. So we have Bryce Johnson. I think he's going to take the win here. He is fantastic at that particular event. We have Thomas Evans coming second there. He's really good at that as well. Trey Mitchell, I'm going to put him third. Tom Stoltman in fourth. Mitch Hooper in fifth. Lucas Hatton in sixth. Austin Andrade in seventh. Paddy Haynes in eighth. And Rayno Nel in ninth. So, look, my theory behind that is I've seen Bryce and Thomas Evans do exceptionally well at Viking presses in the past. Trey Mitchell is just an ungodly presser, probably the strongest presser in the world right now, outside of your Andre Faitus and your, all these other people, but you know what I mean, he's pretty strong overhead. Tom is fantastic overhead as well. I think he beat Mitch there. Lucas, I've seen him do this in training, but he did like 5 reps and stopped. Now, I don't know, is that because he's going above comp weight or what? Or because the comp weight is just really heavy. I don't think he's going to be as supreme on this event as people like to give him credit for. Austin Andrade as well. I can't see him doing exceptionally well there. I think Viking press isn't his thing as much as a log press or an axle press would be. Paddy Haynes as well, he's proved that he's pretty good at this. I think he can beat Rayno on this, so that's my rationale for event number 2. So into event number 3, we have the yoke escalator. Now, I think Mitch would have to try really hard here to not win this. So just to be clear, the yoke escalator is what I assume is a 500 kilo yoke, 1,000 pound to 500 kilos, in that range, yoke that they have to carry for, 10 or 15 meters, not sure. They have to drop that then, and then they have to duck walk the weights in for the power stairs. So there's two sets of weights from my understanding. So they have to duck walk that in about 5 meters maybe. Then they have to get to the stairs, bring that to the top, then go back down, and then bring up the second weight, duck walk it in, bring it up. And they might be doing the buzzers again this year. Again, not 100% sure. Unfortunately, lads, for this particular competition, I haven't been able to find a lot of very clear information. A lot of things are chopping and changing, especially like, the things based around the lineup and certain events. Like, it's very hard to find specific weights for specific things. So bear with me, guys. We're going to try our best here. But that's my understanding of it. The reason I think there's a duck walk is because I saw Lucas Hatton practicing duck walk a lot. So I don't see why he'd bother doing that if they didn't actually have to do that. But as for my overall placings, I think Mitchell Hooper will be coming first there. Bryce Johnson, I'm going to put in second because he is just so good at yoke and really good at power stairs. I don't think he's going to drop any major points there. Austin Andrade as well, I'd back him. Power stairs could be quite poor, but the yoke I'd imagine is going to be pretty good. It just depends on that duck walk. So you never know, it might change around a bit. But I'm going to say Austin in third there, Lucas Hatton in fourth, Thomas Evans in fifth, Tom Stoltman in sixth, Trey Mitchell in 7th, Paddy Haynes in 8th, and Rayno Nel taking another last place. It's nothing against Rayno Nel, I just think this could be a tough one for him. Anyway, on to event number 4. We have the circus press medley. So they're going to be doing a kettlebell press into a dumbbell press into, I think it's 2 axles, from my understanding. So with the axles then, the weights I'm not 100% sure of, but it will be, I think, around the 170, 180 mark for the second one anyway. But for the kettlebell, I think it's around 90, 95 kilos. The dumbbell is pretty similar. This one is time-based as well. So it's not just who can press the most weight, it's who can move between the implements the fastest. A lot of people were having issues with the kettlebell last year. So for that reason, based on it being little mistakes, I'm going to put Mitch Hooper there. His pressing's been looking really strong in training. I don't see him getting caught out in the kettlebell, which could catch out a good few guys. And like his pressing outside that is really good, so I'm going to back him for the win. Lucas Hatton, I'm going to give him 2nd place. Trey Mitchell 3rd. Tom Stoltman 4th. Andrade 5th. Thomas Evans 6th. Bryce Johnson 7th. Paddy Haynes 8th. And Rayno Nel in 9th. So on to the power drive. The power drive is a hay bale type implement, which I will show on the screen somewhere here, into an arm over arm, as far as I know. So the arm over arm, I'm assuming it's going to be like the roller coaster. So I think they're doing the hay bale into the roller coaster. The arm over arm, I'm a bit precarious of. I don't fully understand it. But the power drive, the hay bale, I understand is literally just the hay bale they used last year. I am actually going to back Tom Stoltman to win this. I'm going to put Mitch in 2nd, Rayno in 3rd, Bryce Johnson in 4th, Paddy Haynes in 5th, Trey Mitchell in 6th, Lucas Hatton in 7th, Thomas Evans in 8th, and Andrade in 9th. Yeah, this should be a good event for Tom here. Like, he did really well on the hay bale last year. His arm over arm at Worlds this year was fucking phenomenal. It was faster than Mitch's, which is really saying something. So I expect him to do really well here. Then onto the Mons Meg Stones. So this event, as far as I understand it, they have to pick up kind of natural stones. Like, they're going to be fairly roundy and fairly close to spherical, but not completely. They're going to be a little bit awkwardly shaped. Usual stuff with Rogue, they're going to have the tacky towels instead of actual tacky. So grip will be really important here. Oh yeah, and then they have to pick them up and they have to run and load them like over a post. I see the likes of Bryce Johnson doing really well here. He's tall, he's fast, he's very good at stones. I think he's very hard to beat in this event. Mitch Hooper, I'm going to put it in 2nd, just because I think he'll make less mistakes than Tom. Tom, I'm going to put in 3rd. Because he's exceptional at stones, but I think the fact that his natural stones could throw him off, it threw him off a bit last year. Trey Mitchell, I'm going to put him in 4th, Lucas Hatton in 5th, Andrade in 6th, Paddy Haynes in 7th, Thomas Evans in 8th, and Rayno Nel in 9th. That's poor Rayno. After giving him an awful hard doing. So, with the overall standings based on the points, so I was taking down points for each of these. Sorry, I didn't actually call them out per each event. So, according to my maths, I am stating that Mitch Hooper will win this competition with 44 points. I think Bryce Johnson will be 2nd with 37 points. And I think Trey Mitchell will be 3rd place with 36 points. Now, just behind them then, you have Lucas Hatton in 4th place, Tom Stoltman in 5th. So Lucas Hatton on 34, Tom on 33. Then Thomas Evans in 6th with 27, Andrade in 7th with 25, Paddy Haynes in 8th with 17, and Rayno Nel in 9th with 15. Now, just to go back to Tom Stoltman for a second, right? There is a potential, I think, for Tom to come 2nd place in this competition. I do not think with the shape that Mitch Hooper is in right now that anyone can beat him, let alone Tom, right? I don't think anyone can beat him in this comp. But there's an argument for Tom to come 2nd. I think if he wins the stones and performs better on some of the other events, I think he could get as many as 39 points and sneak ahead of the rest of the guys, such as Bryce Johnson, Trey Mitchell. Yeah, so the reason this comp is going to be so interesting as well is like so many guys are so close in ability level. Like you look at the likes of the deadlift at the start, like nobody there is bad at deadlift. Do you know what I mean? Like there's nobody with a bad event there. Like even some guys, you throw them into a competition, any other competition, they'd be mid-table, but now they're like last. Do you know? So it's yeah, it's a tough one really, but very tight competition, which is why I said I do that point system, because it's just there's no clear standouts in any of them. Do you know, there are in some, but like there's nobody who's just, you know, way at the top or way at the bottom the whole time, bar Mitch Hooper. I think the only event I have him outside of the top 4, I think, was the Viking press. Everything else he's in top 3 in my opinion. So Mitch Hooper, I think, I just can't see anyone beating him in this comp. I genuinely think this comp is a battle for second place. And I also think that Bryce Johnson is a dark horse for this competition as well. I think he is very capable of coming second place. Then again, Lucas Hatton could come second. Trey Mitchell could come second. You know, Tom Stoltman could come second. There's, like, the podium is wide open. It really just depends who is on form on the day, who makes the least mistakes. Like Rayno Nel, I know very little about as of recently. I haven't seen any of his training really. Like he's been very quiet on social media, so I don't know how much he's improved on his overhead. Those are the events where he's going to be lacking the most. Deadlift he's going to be really good. The movie events he's going to be really good. I know his yoke is meant to be pretty poor, which is why I had him near the bottom. But yeah, it's a crazy competition. Like to think that like the current world's strongest man could be last in this competition is insane. But yeah, guys, that's my current opinion on the whole thing. I genuinely think the whole comp is a battle for second place. I think Mitch Hooper is absolutely untouchable in this comp. I don't think anyone is there to beat him. Like Mitch would have to fuck up massively or get injured or something crazy to happen for him to not be first. In my opinion, I just think he creates such a lead for himself in points that he's just pretty much out of reach for most people. But yeah, guys, that's my overall thoughts on the whole competition. Let me know what you think, what your podiums are. Do you think I'm way off? Do you think I'm on the money? But I'm pretty confident with that one so far, especially in terms of who's winning at least. But yeah, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, share the video around if you want to, and we will see you guys later.